man. Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, high elves, dark elves, great seeing ya, and a special shout out to all the dwarves and the banner lords out there. Let me tell you, I'm always feeling good because it's great to be in the Empire today. Don't you dare forget it. But I'm feeling even better because there is a big buff that's been on people's minds, a highly requested buff, and I just so happen to have this mythical champion. And I'm excited to see what this is going to be bringing here in Raid Shadow Legends. So it's making my day, and I hope this is going to make your day. And, you know, in case you need to make your day even better, you're like, man, how can I improve my life? Have you played Raid Shadow Legends? Use the link down below if you're a new player. There's a QR code up there as well. You're going to get 4 banger champions, right? People say this is like the best giveaway code out there on the market. You're going to get a free legendary Ugo level 10. Then you're going to get to go at level 20, and then Deacon Armstrong at level 40. All amazing champions. And I think a lot of people say those champions probably better than this mythical right here. I mean, obviously the most relatable thing, everyone's got multiple mythicals in their roster. Jokes aside, this probably is going to affect everybody. You know, not everyone's blessed with good drop rates like me. I don't know how I do it, man. Especially after this past week. It's like, dude, how do I get... I don't know, man. I'm telling you, I'm uncovering a conspiracy. I'm just working on the metrics for how this conspiracy works. Anyways, a whole different question for a whole different time. Cat out of the bag. Looks like Fjorad Wolfheart is gonna be getting a buff. This has been a highly requested one. When you check out the in-game reviews, I think these are maybe a little harsh. You know, they have this guy really low, which I get why these are low, because it's the mythical champion, and mythical champions very tough to come by. And when you get a mythical champion, you want it to feel mythical. And for Fjorad Wolfheart, we're gonna talk about the things that I have problems with, and I can see why people don't like him. For a mythical champion, I feel like there are epics that are better than him. You know, like Deacon Armstrong. I think a lot of people take Deacon over Fjorad if you take away the epic versus mythical tag, of course. While they're doing something about it, let's go take a look at it. Oh yeah, you know, Hell Hades, if you like to go by the Hell Hades Bible. 4-star overall rated champion. So again, okay stuff. The biggest problem is, well, we'll talk about it in a moment. It's really, this is the real problem with Fjorad, but check it out. Out of all places, YouTube comments. You know, I know people like to give Raid Shadow Legends crap. You don't really see this type of engagement in, like, you know, for example, Galaxy Heroes. I think Marvel Strike Force responds to some comments. It's been a minute since I checked it, but Galaxy Heroes, I guess, to be fair, they don't really post a lot of YouTube videos, and when they do, they don't have interaction like this. The fact that someone responded in the comments, a community manager it looks like, and they said, hey, yeah, we got a buff coming for Fjorad Wolfheart. So the question was, we need the buff Fjorad, buff Raglan, and buff Nari, and 2 of those champions are getting buffed here. Raglan's the other one here, but as they say here, hello, Fjorad Wolfheart and Raglan are planned for future rebalance. They didn't say which week, but it's in the future, so could be tomorrow, could be 10 years from now. Somewhere in between that, I think is pretty reasonable, right? Then regarding Nari the Lucky, please specify what improvements you'd like, you know, blah, 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 blah. And again, I said this a lot. It's really cool that for a game that's pumping out dozens and dozens of champions like on a monthly basis, they still go back and they rework, touch up old ones. I can appreciate that. You know, they could easily say, yeah, no, just keep buying the new champions. I feel like they go back and update their older characters more than, like, you know, Galaxy of Heroes or Marvel Strike Force. Like, they go back and do a lot of, you know, passes on them. You know, it might not always be game breaking, but it's nice to go back and give them a fresh coat of paint. But now the question kind of comes down to, oh, here's Raglan. I don't have this character. This is for the Bannerlords, Legendary, Void Champion, 4-star overall. Don't know much about her kit. Actually, I guess since we're here, let's check it out. Let's see. She can attack 3 times, fills a Terminator 3 random allies, 50%. That sounds nice. Allies can only have their Terminator filled once per turn by the skill. Let's see. Remove all... Oh boy, this is a very simple kit. Wow. Removes all debuffs on allies. That's good. Heals them. Cool. The heals amount is proportional to this champion's attack. Okay, a little odd, right? It's always weird. Okay, I don't know what her attack stats are. Revives allies 75% health. Full Terminator. That's seems okay. Seems okay. I can see why people want a little bit more. Don't get a lot. Maybe people want an aura on this. I don't know. Maybe people want to reduce the cooldowns of this Mercy a little bit more. Maybe make the heal a bit more substantial. I don't have experience with this particular character, but it seems okay. But it feels like it's missing like another ability or a couple extra added effects on it. But for Jordan, I can speak quite personally to this. So let's go ahead and bring up my guy here. I want to first say this. I am very lucky to have 4 mythicals. I talked to a lot of people that have been following Raid or whatever, and if you're like, dude, I've been playing this game longer than you, like hardcore longer, and I only have like 1 or 2 mythicals. Again, that's why I'm super grateful. I'd rather have a mythical than not have a mythical. However, I feel like the mythicals I have minus Lady Mikage, which is my favorite mythic in my roster. And of course, this one doesn't require RNG. Well, it doesn't require RNG to open it from a shard. You know, it has its own fusion path that you could follow, but you have to get those champions, which is a bit of RNG. Whole point aside, when it comes to the 3 mythicals that I have summoned this past year alone, God, I can't believe I got Fjorad and the Calamitous literally in the same video. Like, I think it was Calamitous, and then I got Fjorad. Wild stuff. Absolutely wild stuff. I can safely say that Fjorad is on the bottom tier of my 4 mythics here. I use Lady Kage the most, you know, Calamitous kind of number 2. You know, I like his damage. He's a lot of fun. Ferolni's okay. He's got some solid damage. But it's really what the problem is. It comes down to like these alt forms. And I think that's the biggest problem. Fjorad, the best way I can summarize for those that don't have him, he's sort of a mythical Painkeeper. That's the best way of looking at it. And I'm probably preaching to the choir. You guys probably know who Painkeeper is at this point. I got 3 of them built up. Painkeeper, the big thing about her, she's got this 4-turn cooldown on this, and she's able to decrease the cooldowns of all ally skills by 1 turn. And that's why you like to have multiple Painkeepers, so they can basically keep reducing cooldowns on your team. Well, Fjorad basically does this, but more often, where this is a 4-turn cooldown. Fjorad, on this ability here, which is a bit better too, yes, he decreases cooldowns of all allies by 1 turn. He also applies the block debuffs, increased speed. Those are solid buffs they have right there. And this is a 3-turn, but really it's a 2-turn, because when he's going to be using this skill here, Wolfheart's Rage, he takes an extra turn. So basically what you would do, you would use this skill, right? Great Captain, transition into Wolfheart's Rage. You get the grant an extra turn. So you're going to be pumping this out quite frequently. So that's why I say it's a mythical version of a Painkeeper. So the base form, I would actually say, is okay. Not blowing my mind. It's just okay. Constantly getting out there, block buffs. Like I use them, for example, in my Chimera team. I use them all the time to do, what tier we do? We're doing hard. We're doing brutal, right? I do brutal and hard inside of Chimera. So he's my go-to for that, constantly keeping the speed going. Block debuffs, reducing cooldowns on a pretty frequent basis. It's all right. The problem starts coming when we discuss the freeze aspect of all this. Now, in this form, the freeze is cool, right? So he's got a lot of control things, so he can freeze the enemies. Nice. All right. So again, helpful stuff. I think the main problem is, although this is okay, it's not like mind-blowing. Like maybe if they had this even lower, like what if this is like a 2-turn, and then it basically like he can like use it so much more often when he transitions into Wolfheart's Rage. I don't know. These are basic things that I'm thinking of. The real problem I have, and this is, I think, where a lot of people have their concerns, it's the alternate form. I basically never ever use it. I've only booked this because I was doing it for, I believe it was a champion training tournament, probably for the Lady Mikage, if I recall correctly. So I was like, I'm going to upgrade it just for the points. I don't ever really use this. The biggest problem is so much of this requires freeze. You know, if the target is killed while under freeze, you place the block revive. You can ignore target's defense if under a freeze. You know, what is this over here? You know, place an extra hit on enemies under freeze, right? Also decreases each terminator cannot be resisted if they're under freeze. So a lot of this is like hindered or latches onto freeze. The problem is, I'm trying to double check, he doesn't freeze on this side of his kit, which again feels kind of weird. So it just feels a little clunky trying to get freeze on the first form, which is the better form, and then trying to get over here and hoping the freeze is still on so you can kind of utilize it. It feels very clunky. And I think the other thing is too, he's supposed to be like a kind of like a big damage dealer. It just doesn't feel like the damage is 100% there as well. So for me personally, I think this is where most people's complaints come from. It's this. I think it's kind of a similar complaint with Fjorad, the Mechanist. Like one form, like I like this form. His base form is pretty nice. It's the form I find myself the most in. But even so, even though I'm not like super crazy about the second form compared to the first one, this feels more usable than the second form on Fjorad, where I don't even have this upgraded yet. Man, I wish I guess maybe the next champion training tournament that's important. I'll do it. Get some books on him. At least this has a lot of cool stuff, a lot of ally protection. You get unkillable, you get shield, right? Like these are all various things. Healing on him, right? He can balance HP. Like this is very good. So I'm not saying like this is a bad alternate form. You know, it's okay, right? It's the main form that I like most. Similar thing for Fjorad. I'm just not too crazy about the second form. So I'm wondering if this is what they're going to be targeting. Maybe he can get more freeze on this side of his transformation here, or maybe more damage. I think other things people would like to maybe see on something like this. Again, I'm thinking on like the basic level. Like, don't get me wrong, the block buffs are good. The cooldown reduction is great. Like if he maybe, you know, maybe what they could do, I don't know, I'm just throwing stuff out there. What if on Wolfheart's Rage, since he's not Mr. Freeze in this stance, what if we get maybe block buffs? What if we get defense down? I don't know, weekend. I'm just like very simple buffs, debuffs. And then you put the freeze on the alternate form. It feels a lot more logical. For me at least, right? Like, I don't know. Let's say on this ability, Icequake, he places the freeze, right? That I think would make a little bit more sense for me personally. And then the base form, I think if they maybe just swap some of that out, that could be okay. I don't know, just like Lady Mikage feels very mythical to me. Calamitous feels fairly mythical. I like his damage. And both forms, good for a variety of different things. Like this is the better form if you're gonna be inside the Hydra. You wanna get the Hex on him, all these other things. You can ignore the poison gas, whatever the heck is that, the life barrier, right? Poison cloud, so ignore the ally protects buff. So this is like the better form for that. So, but like even Calamitous, for most things in the game, I'm sticking to the form 1. That's where all the good damage is for most things you gotta handle. But Fjorad just feels more like an epic champion. So I could see why people kind of review bomb him. But even minus the review bombs, I kind of agree with Hell Hades. At 4 mythical champion, it feels maybe a 4 kind of at the best. And when you get a mythical, it's supposed to be the ultimate dopamine hit in the game. It should be one of the best characters in the game, right? Like Lady Mikage, right? For Fjorad, I can't quite say that from the... I've had him for what, about 6 months or so now. I use him all the time, not saying I don't use him. I do use him pretty frequently for some of the dungeons, Chimera, as I said. But I don't feel like my life has drastically changed like Lady Mikage did, for example. But anyways, you guys let me know. For those that have Fjorad, what would you do to him? Even if you don't have Fjorad, I mean, I'm curious to see what you guys think of it. And the craziest thing is, it's not like this is an old mythical. He just came out this year, too. Like, I remember doing the kit reveal, and then the next time we had the Primal Shard, I got him, which is pretty insane. And I would see, maybe if he was an older character, I could see maybe how he just kind of like faded away at the times, you know, power creep. He's a newer mythical. Man, that just didn't blow people away. And I was so sad when I got him. People were like, oh, he's a trash mythical. I'm like, oh man, don't tell me that. But I do use him. Again, at the end of the day, glorified Painkeeper. I actually had a very funny trick. I would have like 2 Painkeepers. I would have Helicath, Fjorad, I think 2 Painkeepers, something like that. And basically, I would have non-stop block damage. And the clan boss, the problem is, I didn't realize there was a cap on how many turns before the clan boss doesn't care about your block damage anymore. So I had basically an invincible team. The problem is finding the content where you're not going to get capped off by some sort of turn counter, whether it's the 50 turn or 1,500 turns at that point. Anyways, I'm excited to see this. When it gets reworked, I definitely want to see what it feels like, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see the specifics on what this is going to be. But anyways, you don't got to wait for the specifics of my giveaway code. If you're a new player, I can tell you right now. There's a link down below. There's a QR code up there. Corrado in the house. Ugo at level 10. And then to go to level 20. And then, of course, the beautiful one and only Deacon Armstrong once you hit level 40. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Happy to share the exciting news, at least for me. If you don't have Fjorad, well, be happy for me, okay? Sometimes it's okay to be happy for me. I promise that. Because when I'm happy, we're all happy. We're all one big family. And we all like to say at the end of the day, how it's great to be in the Empire today.
Oh, it's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.